What's up, die-hard sports fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Cricket Rockstar Plus Show. I'm Tyrelle, Audain, your handsome cricket rockstar, and we're gonna get on to it right away because we'll be reviewing the final three one-day internationals between West Indies and New Zealand that took place in Guyana and Barbados alongside the entire England versus India ODI series that concluded just last week Sunday. Now, both series, however, did produce good cricket, momentum swinging, and a lot of lessons for all four teams heading into future international assignments as far as white ball one-day cricket is concerned. The West Indies versus New Zealand ODI series did swung firmly in the Kiwis' favour after the Black Caps bounced back from losing the opening ODI. New Zealand claimed victories in the second, the third, and the fourth game, and it goes to show that the Black Caps continues to show great consistency with both bat and ball. In the second game, they bowled out West Indies for 138, third game 140, fourth game 188. But in the fifth game, the West Indies did restore some pride by winning a thrilling fifth one-day international by 2 wickets at the Kensington Oval after chasing 269 courtesy Shimron Hetmyer finishing the chase under pressure. Although the Men in Maroon did lose the home ODI series, they did end the series on a positive note. However, New Zealand, on the other hand, they were deservingly series winners thanks to disciplined cricket across the second, the third, and the fourth game. The biggest storyline on the whole was that fifth ODI a couple of days ago, where West Indies chased down 269 to win the fifth game with more than 2 overs to spare in response to New Zealand's 268 for the loss of 9, sealing a tense 2-wicket victory. Hetmyer's composed finishing act did highlight the host's resilience, while New Zealand batting department was very competitive in almost all the games with the exception of the first game. But in total, they were very dominant all series. They continued to build partnerships throughout the innings despite those mini collapses, and it goes to show that they fight back a lot more stronger, unlike the smaller teams. With the West Indies, on the other hand, they did held their nerve in the first game and the fifth game in tense situations after struggling with continuous batting, poor consistency, so as batting collapses for most of the series. The leading performers did reflect the balance of the series, while the New Zealand top order batters consistently laid solid foundations throughout all 5 matches, while West Indies, they relied heavily on their bowlers and their experienced middle order players to rescue difficult situations. Shimron Hetmyer, who only played 2 out of the 5 games in this series, he only got 1 match-winning score, which was the 69 runs in the final game. He stood out as one who can play the finisher role in the ODI format, just like with the T20 format. But on the other hand, one of my issues with Hetty was batting in the middle phase. We saw in the T20 World Cup how consistent he was. He was unlucky in that one game, which I don't want to talk about. But in all honesty, I just hope that Hetmyer does continue to be consistent as far as the ODI format is concerned. New Zealand, on the other hand, one of the reasons why they won the series was not just the seam attack, their spinners, who we will get to in a second, but their seam attack, I must say, like in the fourth game, consistently built pressure throughout disciplined spells and lengths where else the West Indies bowlers, there was flashes of brilliance, but they lacked sustainable consistency in the 5 matches. Overall, the bowling department for West Indies is good. Unlike the batting department, it's unpredictable and no comparison needed. The biggest takeaway from the 5-match series for the Kiwis, they simply played smart cricket in all 5 games with the exception of the first one. Their batting partnerships, fielding standards, and executions during the middle overs was without a doubt top notch and superior. While West Indies on the other side, they did show plenty of fight, especially in the first ODI, the fourth ODI in the bowling department, and the fifth game. Now, in those games in Guyana, their spinners did the damage. But in the games in Barbados, especially the last two ODIs, they had to fight extremely hard. They should have won that fourth game had it wasn't for that drop catch that really spoiled all the excitement. Because had they had pulled that one off, it would have been one of the unexpected comebacks in such a long time. But on the other hand, this series, it exposes both promise and areas that needs working on for both teams as they head towards future assignments. The thing with West Indies is lack of consistency, especially against the big teams. They're always doing good against smaller sides, but smaller sides are continuing to outsmart the unpredictability of the average teams. While on the other hand, when they play against the big guns, they always falter. And that is something that they really have to focus on. While the victory in the fifth ODI was a salute to the late Sir Garfield Sobers, who would have been very proud of the guys even though they had lost the ODI series. But the bad news for the West Indies is for the third time in the running, they have to go through the ICC Cricket World Cup qualifiers to get into the main event. And we know for a fact it's not going to be easy at all because all of the associate nations have been playing better cricket than West Indies of lately. For me, the breakout star of the series for West Indies has to be the 19-year-old Vital Laws. Without a doubt, he was simply outstanding. And that's a guy who has not played any first-class cricket just yet. This series was the first time he was playing professional cricket, and in all of the games, barring one of the matches, he was simply bowling brilliantly, and he's going to get better and better as he gets more mature. While for New Zealand, obviously we have to continue in the spin department because left arm spinner Jaden Lennox, I thought he was terrifically brilliant in all of the games, especially on the slow wickets in Guyana and on those normal standard pitches in Barbados. Just like with Vital Laws, these guys are going to get better and better once they continue to play on these kinds of wickets, whether it's slow tracks, those average wickets, you never know. Moving away from West Indies versus New Zealand to the recently concluded England versus India series, which wrapped up on Sunday. Now, cricket fans in the UK were treated to a blockbuster ODI series. England, they lost the opening match at Edgbaston pretty badly before England bounced back superiorly in the second ODI in Cardiff to level the series. And then everything came down to the wire at Lord's for the decider, where England produced one of its finest batting displays of 2026 so far. Ben Dockett, he smashed a simply magnificent 141. Jacob Battle, he added 90. And Joe Root continues to remain consistent as ever as he gets older and older. Undefeated on 74. Or should I say, Josh Butler was the one who was undefeated on 46 of 13. Root undefeated on 74 as well. And it was those big hitters. They went absolutely all guns blazing and it powered England to a massive 387 for the loss of 3 wickets. India, they did fought bravely with the bat, but eventually fell 27 runs shy as England, they sealed the Metrobank ODI series by 2 matches to 1. India's chase in the deciding ODI was anything but drama. I'll tell you why. Or should I say, they were on course. But with the required rate continuing to get higher and higher, the run chase ended up very disappointing. While Rohit Sharma, he played a simply outstanding, magnificent innings with a breathtaking 138, while Shubman Gill, he added 77, and the always ever reliable Mr. Consistent Virat Kohli, he contributed another valuable half century. At one stage, as I was just saying seconds ago, India looked favourites when the big guns were still there, but the required run rate and wickets, especially Jacob Battle dismissing Shubman Gill, and Sam Curran brilliant spell completely shifted the momentum towards the home team. Curran, he finished with 4 wickets, removing India's biggest threats in the danger men at exactly the right moments that landed the knockout nail in the coffin for England to seal the series. The leading performers, I must say, if we combine the England-India series and the New Zealand versus West Indies series together, these were the bright performers for all of the series alongside the breakout stars, which we just talked about. Shea Hope in the New Zealand versus West Indies series in Guyana and Barbados, he once again led from the front with the bat, but was disappointing in 1 or 2 of the games, while New Zealand, they received valuable contributions from several of its experienced batters in the likes of Dale Mitchell, Tom Layton, Will Young, and the list goes on. They all contributed. So was their disciplined bowling attack, which we just talked about. Michael Bracewell, Mitchell Santner, and Jaden Lennox, they were simply outstandingly well. But coming back to the England versus India series, Ben Duckett, Joe Root, and Jacob Bettel, they all starred for England, while Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill, and Virat Kohli carried India's baton behind them. With the ball, Sam Curran produced the defining spell in the series finale, while England's attack consistently found wickets when the pressure mattered the most. On the other hand, from an unbiased perspective from the 2 bilateral series, New Zealand's series victory in the Caribbean for the second time in the last couple of years came down to superior game management and disciplined execution, while the West Indies, as I have said almost all the time on the show, remains to be an unpredictable team that still has a lot of issues with its batting department when it comes to playing spin. Their good playing seam on flat pitches, but when it comes to playing on slow pitches, their batters do intend to falter all the time to spinners. While their bowling department, they continue to do an excellent job, and credit must be given to the bowling coach Ravi Rampal, who has been working overtime with the bowlers, no question about that. But they, especially their main batters, they need to start converting those big scores to help West Indies get into promising positions where they can win matches more consistently. England, meanwhile, they demonstrated its batting depth and fearless modern approach against India, while India once again proved why they have always been a strong one-day team, but you cannot rely on 3 or 4 star players. It's a team effort. It's not a one-man show. But in this series, their bowling department has been a complete letdown, especially in the final game where they didn't have Jasprit Bumrah in their lineup and they had to rely on Arshdeep and Suraj and whatever they call them. But my hot take is that these 2 ODI series were exactly what 50-over cricket needed. They showcased it, aggressive batting, quality bowling, tactical leadership, momentum swinging, and moments that really changed the course of the matches throughout the 2 bilateral ODI series. That's going to do it for this episode of the Cricket Rockstar Plus show. On the next episode, we'll be previewing the West Indies versus Pakistan Test Series, and we'll also be looking at all of the local picks and the overseas signings for the Caribbean Premier League. So until then, guys, be good, be cool, stay frosty, and most importantly, the only thing more powerful than hate in one another is love. Bye-bye for now.